Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth, y'all. It's been a lot of truth that's coming out this week, man, especially here in LA, but we're going to talk about all that good stuff as well. It's good to see you guys, and thank you for your patiently waiting. We're just a little bit behind the schedule, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk it up. I mean, gave y'all a chance to get more sick, get you a glass of wine and some popcorn and whatever the case would be to get ready for this conversation, because it's going to be good tonight. Definitely.
Depends on what side of the country you live on.
Well,
what time is it over there on the East Coast, Charles?
9. Just after 9.
Yeah,
they
9:13.
Some of them might be just drinking wine and getting ready to go to bed. Some of them.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're not. A lot of them.
Central time is 10 o'clock. No, Central time is 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock right now.
8 o'clock. So yeah. Depending on what's going on.
True. Fellas, Darnell, it is good to see your behind. I was going to say something else. I'll wait to cuss later.
Yeah, that's the thing about living on this side of the world. You got to keep moving, and ain't nothing stops.
Yes.
When you stop, the bills don't stop. You got to keep making the money, or whatever the case.
Don't we know?
Everybody's in a place, especially when you have these mugs done turn around and went up on the house insurance overnight.
Yes. Oh yeah. I know it. That. And we'll get into that, because that's about the LA situation that's going on.
We do talk about that.
Yes.
That's one thing I'm not even surprised by it. I'm not, because see, in situations like this, that's really the issue with the system that really runs this country. It's just when devastation like this happens, then all of a sudden you're having to deal with shit like that.
Yes.
And it's very unfortunate, but it's capitalism at its best.
This is absolutely true.
But other than that, though, how you been doing? Okay, Charles?
I'm hanging in there. Just getting back on top of a real bad cold I caught while I was in Chicago, but I'm good.
That's cool. That's good.
You're looking good, brother. You're looking a little happy and glad to be trying to get cute for somebody. I don't know who, but going with the cute self.
Well, just being me.
Yes, well.
Just being me. That's all.
Now, what'd you say?
I said I'm just being me. Oh, was that Darnell? Oh, he's on mute.
Yeah.
This is one thing I do want to let everybody know. When it comes to programming here lately, I've been reading the dailies and so forth here in Hollywood. There's an issue with how do I put this? With people having kahunas. Okay. Everybody seems to think that as we go into this new era with Trump, we should, and this is a problem the Democrats have all together. I don't want to get too political yet, but just saying they have no balls, no backbone. They always kowtow to whatever's going on to show we're fair, we're good guys.
Right.
Now, within this system, within this show, and the premise that we've put together, this show should carry to show what people actually think, not what we think everybody else should do. Give your opinions, you put down what's actually there. Show some grit. This is the problem we have now. Only people showing grit are Trump and those other criminals up there, the billionaires.
Absolutely.
They're the only ones showing it. So we have to, as a people, stand up and start speaking our minds and speaking for ourselves. I don't think Barack should have laughed at the jokes with Trump. I think he should have looked at him and said, gave him that look like, get the out my face.
I was
my wife a man and all that.
Right. A lot of people have said it. Let's do the business real quick, okay? And then we're gonna get in and we're gonna dig in. We're gonna talk because there's a lot to talk about, y'all. I don't want to thank everybody for tuning in at this point. Those that will be coming along. Sometimes this little late start gives everybody a little chance to catch up with us. Miss Stephanie, want to say good evening to you. Good evening, Linda. Thank you for joining us tonight.
How y'all doing?
And all about so the business part. Okay. So business wise, guys, we mentioned it last week. This is season 5. Okay, and it's a very important season for us here in LA if you just, hadn't been keeping up with everything. But season 5, all right, we have deposited so much beautiful information, as Charles has so delicately put out there for over that. So it's time to get some support going. All right, we love you guys. We will be here. The optimistic goal is still the fact that we'll be in the studio at some point. It's getting closer, because we got some meetings coming up with some producers and things like that have already looked at us and consider us going a lot further. We are different than any other talk show out there. Most of y'all have followed us for a long time and have been on the show. know that. All right. So open up them wallets, open up that card, open up that checkbook. Well, we don't take checks, but by any means, you can support us by giving a donation to our Cash App or to our Venmo account. Very easy. Just go there, type for far as Cash App, it's $TTBTT show. All right. For Venmo, it's the truth behind the truth. Very simple. All right. We love you. We want to keep supporting more. We got to make some money so we can get to the studio, y'all. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. Also this, because I want to read the room too.
Okay, go ahead.
I hear what you're saying, but let's also mention this. With everything that's going on out here in California,
right?
If you cannot support us, look into what's going on organization-wise and support those people who are having issues or out of place or displaced with the fires. Look up your Red Cross organizations. If you can donate clothes, donate whatever you can. I think it's so important right now that we try to kind of support our neighbors, but also support humanity at this point, because everybody, like Charles says, playing petty politics with this.
Right.
And right now it's not the time.
Right.
So if you cannot support us, also take time to look and see what you can do to support those people who are displaced out here, and and do what you can to help out in that vein.
And thank you for bringing that up, because we felt really honored and blessed, and I'm sure Darnell feels the same way as well, that it strategically has passed over us.
Yes, it has.
What I mean? If I would get spiritual at the moment, I feel like that it's the lamb's blood over the door, that when the death angel came by, spiritually, as the children of Israel, it passed over. So I feel really, really blessed behind that, because it got close the other night, in the Hollywood Hills. It got close. But the thing about, I don't want to get in it yet, because I want to say that for a deeper part of the show. But again, welcome in tonight, guys. Yeah, like I said, support us. We still have our mugs available. Okay. Send that email to ttbttshow@gmail, requesting a mug, and we'll get that out to you. If you're giving likes and shares, we'll donate a mug to you as well, so you can sip your coffee, your tea, or pour some tea or your wine or whatever, but put it in that cup. All right. But anyway, so let's go. We got the business out of the way. All right. Good evening, Mom. Hi, how are you? Welcome. And those of you that are the first time tonight join us on this side, welcome. I think our friend Miss E is watching tonight as well. So thank you for taking the time out to spend some time with us. All right. So we're going to get in. We're going to dig in. Let's keep it on the light note before we get into the fires and things that are going on right now. Darnell, we want to hear from you. You missed it. I know you were busy and working like the working man than you were, but we want to hear your take on Wicked, okay? Because we did that whole series on Wicked. I know you unfortunately missed it, the 3 series, which was our Defying Gravity. But even at this point, even though we're not in that series anymore, we're in a series of why. The question why is our series right now. But Defying Gravity is still a very important time right now, and it's going to be, as you move forward in your everyday life, you're going to be needing to defy gravity. But give us your take on it, then we're going to move on, Darnell.
Well, the craziest part about it is that how a lot of people, they figured that just because Glenda was just, she was so soft-spoken and so loving and so this, that, and Glenda was just she was so good. When actuality, or whatever the case would be, she wasn't. She was, because she was very self-centered. Everything was all about Glenda, woe is me, this, that, another, and the third, just all of these things or whatever. And it's crazy how the person who's different is always the person who's looked at to be the evil person, just because you have a different point of view, just because you think that you don't look like the naysayers and all these other people, that you're evil. They shown her to be, you're just this bad person. You're just you're ugly, you're green, you're this, that, and other. The daddy treated her hard, well, who she thought was her daddy anyway.
Right.
Treated her horribly. And the sister was the favorite or whatever the case would be. It was just kind of crazy to me. But in the end, what was weird was that how she had these people who were around her, who knew all this time what from what with her, knowing that she was the type of power that she would possess and could possess, and they used her.
Yeah, well, all right.
And the smoke and mirror of it all, how her actual father had everybody just so scared of him because of this whole big mass type thing or whatever the case to be, and him being just a man behind a voice or whatever. And then you get there and he's nothing like that. He's just a normal man. And I think that kind of goes to today. I think that with everything that's going on with the whole political realm, I think a lot of it is the scare tactic, and that's how they keep the power going. Yeah. Because they really don't have as much power as they proclaim that they do. They just use the scare tactic with the people to be able to say, you know what, if you do this, this is what's gonna happen, and then flaunt your money, because people know that they, in their minds, money bring power. Right. You know. And I think all of it is just all working hand in hand. The movie kind of gave us kind of a insight and a little light into just basically the smoke and mirror that's going on right now.
It's true. This is so true. I mean, a very, very good assessment of that, because how often that we have been misled by the man behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Always. You know what I'm saying? And then you get pulled to a point like, does this really make sense? Or is this person or these persons using me? You know, and not really looking at what I am, what I'm about, what am I bringing to this? Just because I don't look like the norm. You know what I mean? If I don't talk like the norm, you know, and I don't spiritually worship like the norm, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, then I'm always considered as an outcast, you know. And of course, as you know, there's so many, what do they call it? Egg drops, or what is that? Easter eggs, or what do they call it when something comes in, you know, in the movie? That is so deposited in this film. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to see it. Okay, everybody wonder, oh, it's about witchcraft. No, honey, there's more witchcraft going on other places than what you think that happened there. And it's not about witchcraft. Okay, it's about it, but it's not about it. Okay,
but people want to throw it off because it's a musical, and that's the thing. But all movies have symbolisms.
Thank you.
And one thing I really want to point out is the fact that if you watch the film, you can connect with today's times.
Okay.
Those people who lived in the Oz, the land of Oz, they are the Americans who believe in the power of the man behind the curtain, depending on what they represent. They could be the president, they could be a minister, they could be a teacher, they could be whatever.
Darnell, mute yourself real quick. You got your back.
But the facts are the facts. It's a representation of people with no critical thinking skills. And if they do have critical thinking skills, it's on a surface-based level. Elphaba was unique because she looked between what was going on, animals, trees, whatever that was going on. She saw it. She wasn't on a surface base like a lot of these folks nowadays. They want to follow the pack instead of doing their own research. When you do your research and you're critically thinking stuff, you're doing the work, not going by what somebody else told you. Research. And she researched. She did. And she figured out what the hell was going on in Oz. I wish people would go to that movie and not look at it on a surface base, which most Americans do, and understand that in that film there is symbolisms all over the damn place. And if you're not paying attention to real world events, you're going to miss those symbolisms because you're not paying attention, which is always the case, and especially out here in California with these wildfires. But we're going to get into that anyway. So I'm going to keep it moving. But that's what I want to get at, is the fact that people who don't pay attention, they miss out on those Easter eggs.
That's right. It's so true.
And it's all about following who they feel like is following their agenda and their worldview. On that.
Absolutely. On that perfect. Charles, go ahead and give your point, and then we're going to go ahead and move on. There you go.
Let me get my soapbox out.
Right, go ahead, brother. We're ready. We're ready for you.
This is something that I'm gonna throw a few gems out here that I want everybody to catch. And this is nothing personal to anyone, but it's personal to me. I feel that when we give up our right to happiness and our right to self-fulfillment, we leave ourselves vulnerable to the powers that be. None of us, especially the Black race, have gotten to where they are without a fight, without speaking up, without standing up. Everybody thinks that, and like I said earlier, my biggest problem is that we always trying to be civil, and we can be. We can still debate or discuss and have a rambunctious, talk about what's going on. But the key to it is it has to be discussed. And in too many times we're quelled because we don't want to look wild. We don't want to be the angry black person. We don't want to be the angry black woman. There's the time and the place to speak up, and usually that's during the times in crisis like this. 9 times out of 10, most people don't watch the news because they feel like it's so sad. It makes, well, damn it, that's your life. So if you don't watch the news, you don't care about your life. How do you sit up in a room and not pay attention? I get so, this is just me personally. I get turned off when I see women say they don't do politics because it tells me you don't care about what's going on. That's just me. Now, yeah, you don't have to watch it 24/7 like I do and read all the blogs like I do, but at least let me know that you're interested or that you care about what's happening in your community, because it does affect you and your children in most cases of what you're trying to ignore. Right. So my thing is, I want us to have the understanding that we need to step up, be accountable for what's going on, and make sure that people hear our voice. That's all. That's all I ask people to do. Quit laying down. Oh, hey, mommy. But I want everybody to stand up as an individual and say for yourself, not voting is just like voting for the devil. And voting without conscience, you might as well just go ahead and jump off a bridge. It's just my assessment. Because if you don't look at what's going on, pay attention, hey, I hate to say it, but like in the movies, kill yourself, because you're not serving any purpose here. You have no value. If you want to just sit back and let things happen to you, more power to you. But I just can't see myself doing that. Now I'm off my box.
But you have just defined another level of defying gravity. That's you know true. Me at the end That's of the day. True. And we all have to, and we're going to move on. We all have to get to a place that we're not allowing circumstances, jobs, family, church, all of these are the type of things that hold you back from what you are been placed here to do. You know, as its story knows, you may come in here looking like something different. You may come in. What I loved about the movie is that it shows so much imbalance that people deal with in this day and time. Fatherly, allegedly, you know, I mean, and that it wasn't even her dad. You know, how many circumstances where people realize that, or it happens to people in an everyday life. You know, they go through life thinking that somebody is their father and they really aren't. You know, or how parents or mothers or whatever get into a deceptive situation because they're looking for more fulfillment in their relationship and not building on one that they have, and they go outside of that relationship and have a relationship with somebody else, create a child. You know what I'm saying? And now here's this child out here, doesn't even know who they are, you know, and it's about knowing who you are as an individual. Again, if you guys have not seen it, I encourage you. If you have an opportunity to see it live, go see it live. It's all right. Good. It is just a wonderful, wonderful. Now, on record, I've seen the play 4 times. All right. Seen it with 4 different people, but I've enjoyed it each and every time. And now the movie is ours. Hey, I'm going to watch it more and more often because there's always something you can pull from it. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. So moving to LA. All right, not moving to LA, but if y'all moving to LA, yes. But moving into talking about LA. Oh my gosh. Charles like, nah.
I'm not coming nowhere near it.
Yeah. But the one great thing about this is that, and it's not a great thing, but it's also how do you perceive it as a great thing. Okay. And anything that kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier. We are under I'm going to say a mass attack out here. All right.
Or eco-terrorism.
True. Eco-terrorism. Okay. Eco-terrorism. I'm going to say for 1 minute, and I can put on record, I do not believe that these fires just started on their own. I'm going to tell you. All right. Because I know, Darnell, you're waiting. Hang on. I got you covered. I got you, but I can see it like, Darnell, let me get in there. I don't believe that it started on its own. Okay. Because you can't tell me that Pacific Palisades starts in there. If you guys have not been to LA and know the geographic area of Pacific Palisades, is step over from Malibu, okay, but right at the beach, okay, at another affluent area, okay. Yes, it was dominated by another community one time, but it is a more affluent area for people that have money nowadays. Okay, it's a demographic of a lot of people. All right, but for this area to be okay, so they get it under control. All right, just to say they got it under control. All of a sudden, it jumps all the way to Pasadena, Altadena. We have a cousin that has been displaced, and we send her great energy, you know, as to trying to navigate, you know, through this situation. Just her complete home is gone. So send her your great energy, guys, and you know, and all that. What you're speaking of earlier, you know, about that. But then it suddenly ends up over here. I'm gonna tell y'all no. All right, and I'm gonna let y'all speak it. I'm gonna tell you what I think it is in just a minute. All right, but I'm gonna drop my little Easter egg out there about it. But anyway, so yes, we're okay. You know, hey, we said at the top of the show that maybe you could consider us the children of Israel that were being protected by the death angel. On the story, whatever, the lamb's blood being placed over the doorway so that the death angel will pass over. Okay, thank God it passed over. All right, Darnell had passed over, us had passed over, so we're good right now. All right. But go
right now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Darnell.
So what's funny to me is, so Pasadena is like 10, 15 minutes from me for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
And like you stated, no, if you don't live here, you really don't know how close and how far things are. And right. I give a lot of people that was from that side kind of like synopsis of just like areas and how far things are. And I tell people that like from that's in Georgia, just say for instance that you have one fire that's set in over by the airport.
Uh-huh.
Then you got this whole nother fire now that just appears way over in Sandy Springs.
Right.
Then you got this whole nother fire that appears way over in, let's say, all the way up towards the Sugarloaf community.
Uh-huh.
Then they just keep going around. I said, now, if anyone knows anything about fires, they don't just pick little small areas and just start. When they start, they're going to keep spreading out, and they're going to take majority of the areas that's coming right there by them. And then they're not going to be missing little small houses, missing this part, missing that part, missing this other part. So they were stating in the news the other night, night before last, that therefore over in closer towards Encino, that they arrested arson over there. Then they stated on social media, basically stating that they said it's a whole pack and a whole group of people who are causing these fires.
Wow.
Now it baffles me because of you're causing fires of people's homes, and then people are like, well, they were celebrities and and this, that, another, and third. And I had to educate some people on the fact of being celebrities. They got the money. A lot of these folks, they network say they have X, Y, and Z, but network means that's how much their home, their cars, their this, their that,
whole package.
That don't mean they got that money in the bank,
right?
Or whatever. I said, and then too, who in the hell want to start over out from something that they have built? If you have a star who's working on a movie, they don't get paid until the shit hit the box office.
Right, pretty much.
They done spent their money all the 6, 8 to a year paying for the bills in the home in which they had, where they should have turned around and put themselves beyond their means. How the hell can you tell somebody where they should live and how they should live?
Well, okay.
But I find it very sketchy that these fires have started in not only in that area, but in areas where it has some historical significance. Like, for example, Altadena has a rich history in the Black culture and its resilience. Did y'all know during the Great Migrations, when Black people were actually moving from the South to the West Coast, Altadena was the only community for Black folks that if they had a little bit of money could build a home. It's almost like, I remember there was a story, we know the story of Nat King Cole.
Right.
They didn't want him to move into Hancock Park. There was another story about Sammy Davis. They didn't want him to live up in the Hollywood Hills. FYI, Judy Garland sold him her house, and he lived in that house until the day he died. So the fact is that this community, because I'm not trying to make it a race thing, but understand where I'm coming from. This fire was started in very significant areas within this city. And I feel like at the end, somebody had some plan because of the weather. Because I even said it when I was out in a store. I was servicing a store. I said, damn, this wind is blowing very hard. I hope nobody drops a cigarette somewhere. Just jokingly, just randomly saying that. And sure enough, I go to a Super King and there's smoke behind it. And I'm saying, oh, I said, what the hell that's coming from? I thought it was a cloud. But these areas hold very diverse communities.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to myself, something, even watching news, is sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody, and now they have made a political situation out of it. You got Elon Musk having a party over this.
Mm-hmm.
You have Trump saying, well, when I get in, I'm cutting all types of funding from California.
Uh-huh.
Then
you just hit the nail on the head, though, darling.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Oh, yeah.
he's calling Gavin Newsom new scum.
Mm-hmm.
New scum.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Darnell.
No, let me say this real quick before you jump in. I want to hit Charles' part real quick. So I was kind of waiting for that other Easter egg that I was going to drop about what was going on out here. But so my whole thing is that I am looking at the beef that that person, I'm not saying his name, that person that will be some of y'all's president soon, what he had with our governor and had with our governor for some period of time. And his declaration saying that if and when it happened that the wildfires would hit LA or California again, that he was not offering any support once he got in office. Okay. So my allegedly, which I have to say there because I can't say definitively, my alleged side said that you paid somebody to come out here and start this mess. Okay. Your boy probably paid somebody, I don't know, maybe 2-3 million. You give 2-3 million people, then they lose their mind. All right. So I'm just allegedly saying, all right, I'm thinking this whole situation was planned. All right. And because of this beef, and you guys that are listening that don't live in LA or don't hear the news on a regular basis from our side of it, and understanding that this beef that was going on is very been deep, and it's been skin deep, quote unquote, with that person and our governor. At the end of the day, one point, Charles, I'm gonna let you say this. But here's the thing to look at for our Atlanta base and those that are close to that. Okay, Atlanta, you remember when the bridge caught on fire in Atlanta? You remember that, and all of the above that they understood that it was that homeless guy that did it or whatever, smoking crack up under the bridge. Okay, but
allegedly.
Okay, but guess what? It didn't spread on. It didn't jump over from Lindbergh to Buckhead to where is it? What is it?
Cheshire Bridge.
Cheshire Bridge. What is that Cheshire Bridge? But it didn't jump in all those other communities. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that point. Go ahead, Charles.
Well, because I'm a news junkie, there's video of them catching people setting fires. So it's not like it didn't happen. It's not like the lamb's blood saved everybody. There's people moving around the state setting fires on purpose. And when you said even in the wealthy neighborhoods, they're black, and I don't want to say black, but middle class and lower level income homes are surrounding that. So you don't just wipe out one and it jumps over the other. Everybody's affected by this simultaneously. So it's not like you can pick and choose. Once that fire goes, it goes. Then that's why it's such a problem. And then the crazy part is, like you said, it had to be calculated because the wind, they knew 2 days ago the wind was going to come in. So they waited till the wind got in and then they started setting fires. One gentleman, they caught him with a blowtorch standing by the woods trying to start it up. And the guy came run out of the house. People run out the house and said, "What are you doing?" He's over there trying to start another fire. So don't get caught up in this Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff where they have lasers that set fires in certain places and they can control tornadoes. They send them to Republican areas because the government has control of tornadoes. Understand there's facts behind this. There are people with very demented minds and very jacked up understanding of what life itself is about, and they're setting fires. This is not an accident. This was intentional. And the one thing I can give our fire departments credit about is they always find the answers in time. So don't think that you're going to get away with this and you can run. They're going to find out and they will get you. And I hope they string you up by the nuts, because I think this is disgraceful to put all these people, like you said, people's whole life is in the home. Just because my house cost $1 million don't mean I had $1 million. It means over time I paid for it. It's all I have. So it don't mean I got no money in the bank. It's all I have. And when you burn it down, how do I start over? How do I begin to get all this back? Insurance is not going to take care of it. You're going to be at a loss. Just like the people in New Orleans for Katrina. They got the payment for the house, but the new rules are your houses had to be on stilts, 6 feet. So who's got the money for that? I didn't have the money for the house. You barely gave me that. Now I got to pay. That's why many people didn't move back. They couldn't do the new rules because of what had happened. And this is a problem we have all over the country. there's no compassion. There's no empathy. There's none for people who are dealing with things and going through. A judge just blocked overtime, 4 million people's overtime. I forget what state it is, one of Trump's judges. Just today, she blocked overtime for it. And now they keep saying, well, Trump ain't going to charge no taxes on overtime. You know why? Because you ain't going to have none.
Right.
You can't charge taxes on something you ain't getting.
Well,
the saddest thing about it, we don't have no compassion, but we definitely don't have great infrastructure.
Right.
We sure don't.
And that's the situation within these United States, because people are harping on LA for not having water in the hydrants and all that stuff. And I can debate that. I will not debate that, because when we first moved here, and I used to ask people, where are your rain catchers? Why is it that
what the problem with that is, darling? Billionaires own the water system in
yes.
I found that
Billionaires
out.
own it. It's owned. It's not a public trade. And then the people who control it aren't even elected. They make themselves oligarchs or lords over the water. So like I said, man, there's so many things people don't know. And they're talking about the hydrants. It's not the people in LA's fault. It's not the firefighters' fault. It's the lack of oversight and control over what people do. These people weren't even elected, and yet they're selling the public water. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Who gives you the power to do that?
They were talking about that today, and I was like, man, are you like for real? This husband and wife, and then actually part of their properties were burned because they were in the Palisades. Okay, one of their homes.
Well, they're agriculture tycoons. Their names are Stuart and Linda Resnick.
Yes.
If you like pistachios and you buy pistachios at the supermarket, they grow that. That's their product.
Right.
Also, I think they also have a product with water and stuff of that nature.
Right.
But they they control most of the water within California for all of the land that they have purchased. The land is just as big as San Francisco, and it's out there, and it's out there somewhere, but in this state, but I don't know where. But it's but they're worth $4 million
by themselves.
13 billion. 13 billion in
13
fortune.
Right.
And they're the Resnicks, richest farming family in California. So that's who owns the water out here, basically.
Go ahead, Darnell.
You know what's kind of crazy to me is that you have these people, and to go with yourself, what you stated, Charles, some people will still sit back and debate you on that.
Oh yes, they will. Yeah. You would, yeah.
They'll sit back and debate you on that and just say, now, and I was telling someone, so how in the hell do we go through 2 summers without massive fires, 2 whole hot ass summers without massive fucking fires, and we get all the way to the coldest winters? It's cold as a motherfucker outside. Cold.
Yes,
when I say cold, it's cold, and it's been to the point where it's been foggy. So fall bring mist.
It does. We've had a lot of fall. Fall has to have
massive fires in multiple areas. We talk about like right now it's over. Just 2 days ago, it was over almost 400 and some odd thousand people without power. It's more now than then. All those people without homes. Number one, LA is already overpopulated, just like Atlanta. So you mean to tell me all these people is people who now were on the streets because they clearly didn't have a home to stay. It's barely enough places for people to live, or whatever the case may be, as it is. So now you have all these people who have been displaced from their homes. So you add on those people who have been displaced from their homes. Now they're having to find homes. So there's going to be nowhere for no one to find to live.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
You know, the irony of all that is that they've passed all these vagrant laws and the homeless laws, and you can't be here. So all these people are going to be out here roaming like zombies trying to figure out where to go, because now we got all these new laws. You can't be in somewhere else more than a day. You can't sit out front this. You can't be out. You can't have tents out in this area, so and so. You can't be vagrants in this part. You have to have a job. You have to. There's all these laws that tell you that just because you're on hard luck, it ain't my problem. You need to figure this out, and that's crazy.
Well, I would love this to happen.
Mute yourself, Diner.
I would love for this to happen for those who believe in Black unity, believe that we all should come together and help one another. there is that community out to Dina. And those who have money and some form of status need to be put in the limelight because they already got a limelight on, but Palisade, those people, those who have some form of, influence, you need to be doing your job, doing your work. Since you don't want to, since you feel like as a community, we should be more about ourselves and gaining some ground within ourselves by supporting each other. You gotta test right here.
Well, of course, Taylor Swift already donated $10 million.
But Dollar, I don't think. Listen, I bet you can mark today. I'm telling you this, and this shows you a lot when it comes down to things. Now, say for instance, if this was in an area that was not as affluent and it wasn't money there,
okay,
this shit would not be built back up for God knows how long. This shit didn't come back that fast. You want to know why? Because they got to make sure that these people who have the influence over the people be able to live the comfortable lives and to stay in LA to keep that type of revenue still coming into LA. They're canceling the entire award season.
Wow.
And shifting the money that normally goes to put all that together to getting these people back into place, these areas back together.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know that one. Wow.
Can I just put a bit of irony in this real quick?
Sure.
All of what's happening right now, Barack Obama talked about our electrical grids, our infrastructure. All this he done, they kept saying, trying to tell us spend our taxpayer dollars on it. And then his wife was saying we need to eat healthy. We need to do better in schools with your children. And then don't tell us what to eat. But soon as, and I hate to say this, but soon as the white man gets in office, now we're worried about the eating habits of our children. Now we're going to figure out what the infrastructure is. And like,
where the hell did
give me a break?
Where the hell did that start coming from? And then all of a sudden, you now listening to RFK.
Wow.
At least Melania did build a garden in the backyard of the White House. And you know who bulldozed that thing over? The food that's now going back in there. Because Melania said it didn't look good. It was it looked like a rough patch and it needed to look, it needed to set her standards.
No, it had to be
so at the end of the day, what's so sad? Like I say, these people who vote this way are agenda based. I told Jay one day, I said, you know what? These people who voted for this man, they thought they were helping Americans, but really they're hindering us. Right. Those they feel are deemed not worth the time nor the day to be Americans. They don't want certain people to be Americans. They want certain people let's just say in their place. And I don't care if you are of the persuasion or whatever you are. If you're not of the correct persuasion, you're not welcome in their America, and they're letting you know in all of their InfoWars, their podcasts. They're telling you to your face, right. And it's sad that some people don't want to see the forest for the trees. But hey, those who are optimistic, those are the ones that get shot up first. Sorry,
but can we take 1 second to give Kamala her flowers?
Yes.
This woman has been so graceful. When I tell you graceful, you sat there and you certified an election that you turn around and that I'm pretty sure that they had their way in. With a smile on your face, you was jovial, you was all of those things. You sat and gave a eulogy at a president that clearly at the time in which you was in the office, I'm pretty sure he probably wouldn't have gave a damn about the fact of you and your culture. But due to the fact that he said that he'll live long enough to make sure that he voted for you, you got up and you did that. On top of the factor of the area that her home that she said sitting and wondering, am I going to have a home? Because guess what? When the 20th come, I still got to go back to my normal life.
Right. So I mean, I was looking at the fact of when she had to do that, and then I know Charles was like, saying, well, it's like, where is the pushback from the Democratic Party? I know this is kind of shifting our conversation.
Well, Michael still said that on Morning Joe, and he brought it to Joe and Mika. That morning, he said, y'all want us to be civil to a man that don't want to be civil.
Right.
He wants to come in and kill or imprison Americans who do not fit his agenda.
Right.
Now, at that funeral, you know what's so funny? See, Trump is so evil. Most Republicans do not respect Carter. They never respected President Carter.
Right.
And the saddest thing about it is they never, even all after he had left and he did all those great works, they still
did kept throwing him under the
mud
bus.
on his
They kept
his
throwing
face.
him under the bus.
So
and
even at the
over.
funeral, there's a deaf girl who can read mouths. She knows how, if she can't hear, but she can read lips. You know what that man told Obama in that corner? He said, I didn't know he did all of this. I always thought he did nothing. Now she's on Instagram. We'll pull it up and put it on the next show. Or we can pull it up on.
Well, I'm not trying to be funny, but why are we surprised Donald Trump doesn't know squat about anything?
He said he didn't do nothing.
He don't know. He didn't know that what is it? The what they call them now? Not the genocide, not the guys from the New York that did the rape, incarcerated, whatever. Yeah. He says he still hasn't seen evidence that they didn't do it. I'm like, dude, it's been everywhere. How do you not know?
It is what it is, Charles. It is like O.J. Simpson. It's what it is. It's the same old story, and it's the same old nuance. You're not even innocent.
No.
You're not even though you've been proven to them, you're still never innocent. And I'm sorry, but
you're right, Stephanie. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, well, I mean, you guys have got. I mean, there's just so much that's there, and so much. There's so many layers up to impact. Where we are with things, and I think this will roll out in different conversations that we'll have. But the one thing that I want to say is, what is we that know that the truth behind the truth brings the truth behind the truth. That's what the show is about.
Yes, it is.
So I'm saying, and so what can we do? I know it seems hard. I know it seems large. I know it seems, but what can we focus in on as a group to let our message to be even stronger than the negative that that the rest of society is experiencing? Because we've talked about Wicked. We've done 3 shows on Defying Gravity. We've explained a young woman's struggle with identity crisis, family crisis, somewhat financial crisis, and the ending of the story is that where the true love is ultimately found, and true love is ultimately found in someone that you least expect, that supports you throughout the whole process of where you were. You realize it, but you don't know how to bring it. Then I'm going on in the story, but it's going to come back here. Then you lead on into that particular story to have to create the illusion that you had to die. Isn't that something? She had to create an illusion. She had to fake her death, to be able to have the ability to live her life. Isn't that something? She had to. Now, those of you who don't know the story, those of you that have seen it, I'm dropping the Easter egg for, part 2. All right. So she, if you've seen the play, then you understand where I'm going with this. She faked her death. Okay. So how many of us had to fake our death? Not necessarily the physical death, you know what I'm saying? But you have to, in other words, become hidden, for such a time, you know what I mean? To bring your true light, or to find your true love, in humanity. So where do you find, how long do we have to fake our deaths? How long do we have to continue to be able to do this? I'm speaking to us collectively, but those that relate to us, how long do we have to keep faking our deaths? You know what I mean? How long do we sit back and continuously to allow the man behind the curtain to dictate, to a group of people? And I know this is deep, and it's intentionally to be deep. It's intentionally to make you stop and think. Okay, what value, even if it's just you changing somebody in your community, even if it's just having a different conversation with someone else to elevate them, so that your death can be recognized. That you can be saying, well, you are a valid person. And one of the points I want to get into, there's one of the songs that opens that when she is going through the fact of her discovery about where she's moving to, that other places she get to meet the wizard. When I meet the wizard, the words go along. But and there's so many Easter eggs in that song that even talks about where she's saying, everybody, there will be a celebration about me throughout Oz, and people don't even know why they will be celebrating her. I thought that was so deep. You know what I mean? And then she goes beyond that and says that, and then she would be so excited about it that she could melt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of these little Easter. I know some of you are like, well, where's he going with this? You know what I mean? It's, and I'm trying to encourage you to kind of navigate your life that from a different place from where you were. From where you have perceived things and the way things are and the way things are in your community. You may be the alpha for that community, okay? But you discovering yourself in that community is where you start defying gravity. You don't.
I'll go like this.
Okay.
I feel like, and this is taken into another situation.
Okay.
Even in The Wiz, the
Yes.
Scarecrow and those crows.
Uh-huh.
We have a lot of crows
Oh
in our
my God, that's another great example.
We have a lot of
Oh my
crows that
gosh,
are
yes.
around us in our everyday lives.
That naysay and pick at you.
They do. They pick at you and pick at what you say. They mock you.
Yes, they do.
Even if you have some form of knowledge of what's going on in your society, there are people who would tell you, well, you can't win.
Right.
So you might as well smoke that smoke and drink your glass of wine.
Right. Uh-huh.
Because that is the situation of everything that we are having to deal with in these times.
Absolutely.
Because you said it, Charles, people don't vote. Because you have a bunch of crows in your community, in your churches, in your classrooms, on your jobs, telling you, well, what does vote have to do with? Yeah. God controls everything. Right. The man controls everything. The system controls everything. They told Martin Luther King that too. Because we can go back into history. You have to remember there were a lot of black folks who laughed at Martin Luther King.
Yes, there were.
And said that
38% approval by the black community for Martin Luther King.
And said that his organization would never work.
Uh-huh.
And it did. You want to know why it worked? Because it took a few droplets of white celebrities. It always takes celebrities in our situation.
Yeah, if white folks don't believe in it, it ain't gonna move. It's just how this country is.
Yeah, it always takes a celebrity.
My question is this: when do you get to the point where you stop looking for other people's approval?
That's when you start defying gravity.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying? That's when you decide to find, because when going back into it again, when Elphaba discovered, you know what I'm saying, that how being manipulated that we are, and all of the things you just said, how manipulated that we are, and you're like, well, damn, I am the best thing that ever hit this freaking planet.
Accountability.
Accountability.
But that's why Trump is in office.
Yeah.
That's why you have people like Trump in office. You got the working class people with a bunch of crows, and they allow somebody like the wizard to conquer and divide us through money, through access. If you have one person telling you, well, you know what? I don't think that gay man or that gay woman should have that position. I don't think that woman, especially that black woman, should have that position because she's a DEI hire. Now, who is telling us this?
Wow.
People like Elon Musk told at least black folks during the election that Kamala wasn't black. She's Indian. So
Elon Musk is not even a natural citizen. He's come from an apartheid state, and then he comes here, wants to run things. And then, like I tell anybody, Trump only tried to stay out of jail. That's the only reason he ran for president again. Stay out of jail and change the rules.
Situation, Charles. We, as the working class people and people who live these average everyday lives, who have to work in the public sector, allowing these people who are behind curtains telling us that we should be doing this and we should be doing that, we should be voting for this, like you said, Darnell. Why are we always trying to live for someone's expectation? Because you got rich people, and I hate to say it like this, because I know people are like, why are you always blaming rich people? Well, who is always on your television telling you what to do? And on your job, CEOs who are telling you when to come to work, what to wear. Hey, what is the most popular thing? Oh, Beyonce doing this. And these are people with assets and money. And you got poor people.
Citizens United.
Thank
That's
you.
the key right there. Citizens
And
United.
worst thing for Americans, especially pro-Americans, is unification. Black, white, everything in between, religions. Unification is the worst thing that could ever happen to this system called capitalism.
I've been preaching this for 20 years.
I think
Until we run the courts, we're not going to get anything. We have to control the courts or have some say. They make the rules. And I was telling this to people ever since 2000, man, actually since 97. I've been saying if we don't get in the courts and change the system, we're never going to get anywhere. But nobody worried about that. Some people complain about the jail system, but they don't know they elect the sheriff. So if you complain about the jails, that's the guy who's in charge of it. You elected him. Do you go out there? Do you ask him what he's about? Do you have a conversation? Figure out what his things are on his website. Look at what he stands for. You know, them guys get these jobs and they just roll over into a pension. And nobody says a word. Nobody even pays any attention. And then they go, well, I don't understand how you get away with it. He got away with it because you're not accountable for being in the system and making things change. Until you are accountable, there will never be a change.
Never
And
will.
we don't listen.
Go ahead, Darnell.
We don't listen.
so. Why I don't know why I feel like this woman is gonna come in and end up being the governor of California.
Who?
Kamala.
Yeah, I feel like she's gonna end up coming and being the governor of California.
Oh,
I feel it.
Wow. Wow.
She could, but then you got people over here who are so what you call they're not too. Hey, we got a bunch of
But they hate
that
this man.
that we can vote for her anyway or vote anybody.
They hate this man so much. They hate this man so much, or whatever the case would be, to the fact that they would rather see her there than see him there.
And you know, I've had, you know, the sad part about this, and you know, we will have to say Governor Newsom for another show. The thing that, first of all, I don't know where this total hatred for this man came from, because I'm gonna tell you, this man navigated this state very carefully during COVID. Okay, he paid people some hell of a money. Okay, and I ain't talking about people of affluency. I'm talking about other folk. So anytime somebody has something to say about Governor Newsom, this, you know, because we watched this before, because it was right at the time when we moved here. You know, when all of this started occurring, and I said, this man is going to make sure that he takes care of these people. You know, and he did do it. Now, does he do everything right? If he got half of the well, that's another conversation. If he got half of what he gave everybody else during this time frame, he approved everything for everybody. And if you didn't jump on board with that, that's your own fault. Okay, but we're not gonna get into Governor Newsom. You're this one.
But let's get into our mayor. Those people who are complaining about what's her name?
Oh, Karen.
Karen Bass. You know what? I wish they would, you know, those people who thought they could do a better job would come and do the job. Because the fact is, though, this woman didn't run away from those situations. She was already in Africa doing business in Africa when this was going down. They made it sound like she was that cruise guy in Texas when that blizzard came rolling through,
ran away.
And he went to he went to out there towards Mexico from the snow. That wasn't the case with Karen Bass. Right. So these people who are so busy tarnishing this woman's name because she's a DEI hire, I wish they would come out and just say she's a. I wouldn't want to say the word. But you know what I'm trying to go at, because you know what DEI stands for. Because we know code. I ain't no fool to what DEI stands for, because it's all coded language.
Donald Jr., Eric, and Ivanka.
Coded language, and I don't care what people say. Y'all always trying to make it about race, but no, we ain't fools around here. Now you can go, fool those others, but you ain't fooling nobody who knows at least know about the American history, know their American history. So this is all coded. But yes, the fact is, if you think you can do the job, come and do it.
Right.
Come and do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Come and do the job.
You know, I want to go back to one quick point. Back to our movie reference.
Women run more households than men.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. You know, I mean, it's probably true in a lot of circumstances. And it, yeah, I mean, you know, that's
more women than men anyway, so it's going to be that way.
Thank you, Charles. You know, I want to go real back, and then we'll kind of circle back and, you know, kind of give you some walkaway points from tonight and what we've been discussing. I do want to, as we go into that, I want to bring back to the point where when you guys see the movie, you understand the flying monkeys.
Oh yeah, the
You
flying
know,
monkeys.
and how they came about. Okay, because these characters are all apart from the Wizard of Oz and all that stuff, and you always wonder where they came from, and how they came about. Okay, well, watch Wicked and you'll know where they came about. But the one thing that got us, and I think I beat his knee up when we were in the movie when it happened, when Madam, I can't think of her name, you probably remember this part, Darnell.
Madam Weather.
Yeah, when she came out and after the fact of declaring that Elphaba was this wicked witch, of course, is what she put it, or she probably didn't say one of this wicked bitch, is what she probably wanted to say at the end of the day. All right. That represented so much on so many, but she says to these monkeys, go back to where? To your families. Okay. And spread the news. Okay. Of all of these things that you have experienced and protect them so that you won't be a part of what is about to happen. Isn't that something? So here it is, the deposits of everything that man had been doing behind the curtain. These people have been, these monkeys were quote unquote in servitude to the wizard. Okay, they were in servitude. So now that she gives them the ability to be free through a spell, okay, you have to see it through a spell. But what has happened because they've gotten free, now they got to go back, and that's the other woman is trying to tell them, you know what? Don't forget what you got. Okay. Go back and take all of this to protect you because the wizard is the one that's in control. But anyway, that's too deep.
But you know what that represents? That program that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy is trying to protect.
There you go.
What's it called again, Charles?
Oh,
what's that program when they bring in
DOGE, DOGE, Department of Government Oversight, something like that. DOGE,
DOGE, and pay them less. But they do the work that you don't want to, that
you don't want
to. Indentured slaves. Indentured slaves is what it is. Wow. They won't be able to get out. Once they're here, they can't go back. So it's like, I got to serve you until you let me be free.
Right. Wow.
One thing I will say, and this really, I'm so sorry, but this, I'm being random, but this really put something over my spirit. When that man said, when Vivek Ramaswamy said, that most Americans, they celebrate meritocracy, but he didn't say black folks are Mexicans. He said all Americans celebrate meritocracy and they are not skilled in their positions.
Wow.
And you know what? I kept saying to myself, those people who voted for Trump, those I would say poll folks, you know what I'm trying to get at? Those people were so offended because they would have hit dogs that hollered that whole entire time. Now you got Steve Bannon, because there is a situation. There's
of all people.
There's a tech MAGA and there's a populist MAGA that's going on right now. And the situation is that most of these people don't even know what's going on, whose side are they on. Trump is like Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. He believed that these people should come over and actually do the work that some Americans are incapable, are not skilled to do. So you got most of these maggots out here who are kind of like, they're in their feelings right now. Some of them they're still drinking of the Kool-Aid because, the 20th haven't came yet. But the fact is that you got some people who are rethinking their votes.
Yes. It's the most research thing on Google. Is how to get my vote back. People, too late.
Shit, majority of all them motherfuckers, because guess what? They're now figuring out the fact that all the shit that was told to you was a whole lie. So you sit back now thinking about the factor of, then the ones thinking that, one, if they had common sense to know that the president can't do shit, can't change the grocery prices. That's it.
And the fact that Obama and him was laughing in the corner, you could look at the comment section. Why is he talking to that man? Are they fooling us? Did we get bamboos?
No.
And look at them comments.
You saw the thing where they was taking the WordCon. The clip with the part where they saw was the moment where it was basically saying when he asked him, he said, I didn't know the fact that he did all those things. And he was laughing at him because he was like, you stupid. Because the person was reading his lips. He was like, how could you not know all these things? Or whatever case when you try to be in office. That
George and Laura Bush
took it out of
walked
context.
past him. Didn't even shake his hand. They scooted past him real fast. Didn't even want to shake his hand. Then he shook everybody's hands in the pews, but his.
Yeah. Pence. He shook Pence's hands.
And his wife didn't even
they were going to lynch January.
Yeah.
They were going to lynch him.
Well, look at his wife. She ignored the hell out of him. She didn't even stand up. She didn't even look at him. She's like, "Yeah, right." I'm like that.
I swear, you can't make this stuff up. And I know they're trying to be civil, but man, this man, I'm sorry.
You know, like I was trying to say. So let's take our I don't want to say closing moments, but and each of us just kind of like circle this back here and give more. I mean, there's a lot of information for everybody to unpack, you know, which we always do that. But do your research, number one, okay, and not accept things for being your status quo as to what it is. I hope that you guys are not the ones that are seeking the man behind the curtain. I really, really hope, you know, I hope that at some point you guys are waking the fuck up. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I am serious. I didn't say the other word. I said fluck, but it meant the same thing. All right. All right.
You could have said duck.
You gotta wake the duck up. Oh no, well, okay, that'll work too. You know,
duck. That would have been much more.
Well, I could have said flucking around too, but you know, hey,
I didn't say it, Mama.
It's all one of the same.
Have a dirty mouth.
Look, y'all know I will go Peter on you in a minute. I don't make no reference not to, because if it's time for me to say fluck and tuck and everything else, okay. If it drives home, if it drives home the moment, then I'm gonna say fluck. Okay, and if you're really messing with me, I'm gonna tell you to get the fluck out my face.
Just say it. Stephanie, just say it.
I know that's right. You get tired of that ship going on, because there's way too much ship going on, and people fucking up your life.
I just finished the word for you. You know, I'm fluent in cussing.
You know, but
we might as well cuss, because I mean the year has started off it's been starting off rough as all get up. I mean, this is a new year. We got wildfires, we got snow in Louisville, Kentucky. Right. We got a man that's gonna come in on Easter. On Easter. Now, I'm not trying to be funny. The Gregorian calendar say that January the 20th is Easter on their calendar. That means Trump, the Savior, is going to be inaugurated. Now, we've been having these inaugurations on the 20th since I don't know when. Now, all of a sudden, he's the Savior. Martin Luther King celebration is on that very same day. So what does that make Martin Luther King Jr.? See, you got maggots talking like this.
I love that maggot. Exactly.
You got maggots talking like this on TikTok.
They say Trump is by God, ordained by God. God put his hands on Trump and brought him here for us.
You can't make this stuff up or this shit up. You can't. It's hilarious. And I hate to say this, but you know, you're gonna see a lot of crazies coming out. Because this man has ushered in a new era for those who are crazy to come out.
It's called The Truth Behind the Truth. Okay. Yes, indeed. But anyway, so Darnell, give us a point to where you want to kind of give a little advice on what I don't know, where bring people in a little bit anyway, a little something.
Listen, I think for this season, for everybody, I've been telling everybody this. This is the moment where we have to, like that old saying, we got to stay ready so we don't have to get ready.
Okay.
For whatever's to come, make sure that you're watchful of everything that's around you, everyone that's around you, every surrounding that's around you, because we've seen you can just be out and about amongst just your day to day, and things can happen just so fast, because people's minds are so wicked these days.
Yes.
And just we got to just you pray to whatever your God that you have to keep you safe. That's it.
Okay. All right, Charles, go ahead.
Well, all I can say is I've been for years trying to express what politics and policy looks like to people, and they always blow me off like I can't. And I've been saying for the longest, Democrats, Republicans are the same people, just with a different colored banner. That's it. That's all it is. And then when you look at it, you got one that's aggressive, Republicans, and one that's complacent, the Democrats. You can't we can't do the middle of the road, because the middle of the road is not going to take us anywhere. We're still stuck, you know. Right. And this is and this is my thing. That's my point too. You have to participate as much as you pray. You can fill truckloads of prayer to circle the globe 3-4 times, and it still won't make a difference. You have to participate in order for things to make a change. You can't sit around and get on your knees and beg for it to happen. You have the power, you have the wisdom, you have the energy to put into what needs to be done. You just got to get off your duff and make it happen.
That's right. Absolutely.
And don't get complacent in that prayer, because you had a few years ago, you had people holding Bible in the one hand and lynching people on the other. Yeah. So I mean,
they prayed that you would die.
Like my grandma said, you know, those who pray too long don't get things done.
You know, I knew it was warm, so it had warmed up a little bit for some reason this week. The Pope was over, and the Pope was over from the Vatican, honey, over in the States.
Oh, was it?
The hell was freezing up, was coming.
Oh, you stop! I can't. You know. Go ahead, man. Catch your point.
But listen, I hate that we must put in the work. That's right, Miss Stephanie. We must put in the work. And you know what? It's time for a lot of us to start doing what we need to do, right, and being up on our due diligence. And now is the time, because right now you can't just sit there and just be complacent. Because if you are complacent, hey, you just lost in the sauce. And that's what's going to happen to a whole bunch of us who really are focused on when the next game is coming on, or when Beyonce gonna come out with a new album, or are you gonna get them new Jordans? I hate for those you cannot save. Right. You need to, I'm just saying, you can't save them. You just gotta leave them where they at. You got to, hey, we gotta do what we need to do. So
leave them in line.
leave them in the line, and you just walk past them and say, y'all are fools. But hey, it is what it is, you know.
You know, and very, very good points about this. You know, we here at the Truth Behind the Truth, number one is that we love each and every one of you guys. You know, that follow us regularly, those that come by later on in the week, and those that just pass by the show, or whatever grabs your attention for that moment, that we do grab your attention. Know that we are here. All right, we do our due diligence in trying to bring you correct and accurate information. And then, I don't care, out of 5 years of shows, I don't think that we have been off on anything. You know, now we have been from different perspectives on what some people see themselves religiously, and you know, and their ideas of their Christian practices. We celebrate you. Okay, we just tell you the truth behind the truth on it, but you don't like it. Hey, it's okay. You know, you ain't gonna like everything. All right. You know, you're not. You know, and you ain't supposed to. You know, and if you like everything that somebody's saying, there's something wrong with you. Okay, because that means that you're not challenging yourself to be better, or either the wisdom that's coming at you to impart something out, you know, into somebody else. So please don't expect to be in agreement with everything that somebody else is saying. If you disagree, you're in a good spot. Because if you're agreeing with something, you're not going to follow. You a sheep. All right.
Oh, can I get one word in right quick? For all those people that wrote me them nasty notes, kept saying there's going to be a recession. I kept saying no. Ever since last year, it's going to be a recession. It's going to be a recession. Looking, I kept saying, no, it's not. If you look at the right numbers and the right information, no. Oh, yeah, it is. Have we had a recession? 2 years later, we still ain't had a recession. Economy's doing great. Numbers is up. Everything's doing great. So I kept telling people, stop listening to hearsay and gossip. Find out for yourself. Do some research, please.
But he will be president in a Biden economy. Right. So he's going to take the praise and the credit, which he did when he was president during Obama economy.
Right.
Because that's why some of these knuckleheads out there talking about, well, you know, the economy was great when Trump was in office. Well, it takes time for things to happen. Right. And so, so certainly he was president during Obama economy, and he will be president doing a Biden economy. Right. It's what he does with these executive orders and these tariffs that's going to change the scope of what Biden was trying to do, because you know now that he's trying to, you know, with Mexico and Canada and all, and Denmark.
Gulf of America.
You're trying to go to war with Denmark.
Our allies at that. Our allies he's trying to fight with.
What do we need with cheese?
Okay, and you trying to buy? My question is: do these idiots not know the fact that therefore that do these people not know the fact that a tariff is something that if you can't put a tariff on China, you can't put a tariff on Mexico, you can't put a tariff on all these places. A tariff is something that if I'm a consumer, buy something from them, I pay it before I get the goods.
Well,
so the American people pay for it. The taxpayers pay for it because I go, say for instance, if I go out and buy this crate and this crate costs me extra, what I'm gonna have to do now is mark the dollar up on whatever I'm having to charge the people.
Right.
So now you're paying for it, not the other people. Like, I don't know.
So the tariffs. Hold on, we got to end it with this.
I want to say this. He don't need to go to war with Denmark. All he needs to do is ask for the Danish. If he want the cheese, just buy the Danish cheese. There's Danish pastries. Go ahead, just get your Danish pastry. Why you got to go to war with the Denmark? I just don't understand this fool. I don't understand. Why are you trying to go to war with these people? Denmark ain't did nothing to us.
Let's talk about the tariff real quick. We got to go. All right. The tariff. You got to put tariffs on Bibles. You got to put tariffs on your Bibles, tariffs on your gold sneakers, tariffs on your clothes, tariffs on your ties, tariffs on everything that you terrorized America with. That's where your tariffs come from. Because China made it all for you. But for those of you that knew that, that's where the tariffs coming from. You put it on all your products.
I still have
that were supposed to be American.
You want to go to war with the Danish?
Well, you want to go to war with Pamela.
What the hell did they do? They don't do shit.
Okay.
He'll go to war with you.
They got socialism, healthcare. Ain't no poor people there. Go ahead, dog.
But anyway, we gotta go. Thank you so much for tuning in for tonight. Okay. But we do want to remind you to support. Yes, definitely support, like we talked at the top of the show. Hey, all this comes at you with a price. Okay, I'm not saying we're charging, no, but it does come with you at a price of information. Study. Hey, we're talking about supporting Denmark. We're talking about tariffs. We're bring some of them tariffs over here to the truth behind the truth. All right, and support us. Go to our Cash App. Go to our Venmo account. Drop some money in. Because we want to carry it further. Hey, this needs to be on network television, guys. Yeah, but we have a great platform here, but we need to be on network television.
And support the Red Cross. Yeah. Find your Red Cross and give and donate to these families out here in California, please. Please. But then on top of that, why are we going to war with the Danish?
Anyway.
Why? There is no reason for us to go to war with Denmark. These people are happy.
To be continued, okay? To be continued. But for all of what we said tonight, guys, I hope that you pull it back in. My last point to say, if you're not defying gravity in the course of your life, okay, find it. Okay, separate you from those things that hold you down. All right, be it your political persuasion, be it your family, be it all the things we've laid out, be it your church involvement, be it all those types of that hold you down. Anything that is connected to you should be lifting you up.
Yeah,
should be lifting you up at any given point. You should be able to turn on being lifted up, being this terms will lift up. If it's not lifting you up, if it's not telling you what you mean to this planet as an individual,
because
let it go.
Cheese lift people up. It does. Cream cheese lift people up. At the end of the day, why are we still going to war with the Danish? Denmark ain't did shit to us. I'm just saying.
All right, anyway,
if you want to be lifted, eat some cream cheese. That it will lift you.
Stop. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. We do love.
I don't understand.
We love you, and thank you for being here tonight. Stop that. Okay, but seriously though, we thank you for your time. We thank you for to tuning in and share this show, share everything we've talked about tonight. And guess what? We will be right back here again, not eating Danish. But we will be right here again next week, providing you with more reasons to keep yourself lifted up. All right. We love you guys. Thank you for being here tonight. Good night. Thanks for tuning into what? The Truth Behind the Truth.
Eat some cream cheese. Be happy.